Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Before we start, let's take some rest and let me tell you a few dad jokes. You can answer if you have an answer in the chat. You can just go to my name and answer it. All right, first dad joke. What type of music is scary for birthday balloons? What type of music is scary for birthday balloons? You know it? Yes, Dildeep, you got it. It's pop music. I think that's a pretty common dad joke, but all right, let me give you another dad joke. What kind of cars do cows drive? What kind of cars do cows drive? There's more than one answer. A movers? Is that a type of car? Possible. Mustangs. Yes. There's a few other ones. Yo, what about Corolas or Cadillacs? Good. These jokes are supposed to be lame, okay? Don't judge me. They're dad jokes. All right, so let's get into Sidh the Ghost. By the way, automobile. That's good. That's good too. Automobile. Nice. All right. So we're past halfway, by the way. And very soon after we cover like more Gurumukh Paudiyaan, because before we go into some of the inner mysteries, you have to become a Gurumukh. And I'll explain this a little bit more today. But then we're going to talk about Sunya. I'm sure you as spiritual seekers might have come across the word Shunya before. We're going to talk about Sunya, which Maharaj calls Sunna. We're going to talk about silence, emptiness, the very core root source, the fourth state, the center point of the whole cosmos. These types of topics are coming up in Sidh Ghost. So we start off today with Gurmukh Ratana Lahai Livalai. A Gurmukh is someone who considers their Guru's words to be their destiny. The Guru's command is the grace. The Guru's command is my destiny. It is my pathway. It is my everything. To the extent that a Gurmukh says, I can deny God's command, but I can't deny my Guru's command. Although the Guru is the embodied God, right? I mean, sure, everything else here is God too, but the Guru is really your interface, your embodied God. That the Guru's command lies higher than anything else. Gurumukh Ratana Lahai Livalai. And what does a Gurumukh do? Dhyana Moolam Guru Murti. Or the way that it's written in Guru Granth Sahib Ji is Gur ki Murat Man Meh Dhyan. One who meditates on the form of the Guru. Think about this very carefully. Who is your Guru really? Sure, you might start off by meditating on their outer form, their illusory form, which is their body. But who they actually really are is that ultimate existence, light, the alive bliss. And when a Gurumukh meditates on that, they end up receiving that jewel for themselves. The two jewels that Swamiji talked about here was one is Vivek and one is Vairag. Not at the beginning level, but at the most advanced level. Vivek is the state that lets you see, decode, and decipher truth from untruth. Even with open eyes, when you look at something, instead of seeing it as a vishay or a target for a sense, you see its reality for what it actually is. You're able to decipher away the illusion from what's true. And there's a very natural detachment from the world that's not depressing, but is actually very, very freeing. Because if everything is distant from you and everything is moving in its own trajectory, like a movie playing out, you're never going to be affected by anything wrong or anything right. You're always going to remain in your ultimately free state of bliss while you watch the drama and the tamasha unfold, right? So it's a state that is very free and blissful. How does someone attain this state? Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam. For a Gurmukh, look at the way that they describe a seeker, because we're talking about seekers here, but the name they've given to the seeker is Gurmukh. I don't think I've heard such a precise word for a seeker in any other shastra than there is in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Gurmukh, one who's facing the Guru. And a Gurmukh is someone who considers the Guru's command to be their mantra. It's to be repeated, it's to be lived, it's to be experienced. Swamiji here mentioned that Vivek comes from Satsangat. Bin satsang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa bin sulabh na soi. So pray tell, you tell me, you've come to Adhyatma Prakash class, you're in Sidh Gosht class. Have these classes not given you clarity and direction in life? Have they given you Vivek? And isn't a natural, very easy type of detachment, distancing happening? So it's happening to you in real time, that satsang is giving you Vivek. Gurumukh Parkha Ratana Subhai. Parkha means to decipher or decode. A Gurumukh is someone who's able to decrypt the jewel from the dirt that it's surrounded by. And it happens very naturally because of the eyes of Vivek that the Guru has given. So as you proceed on the Guru's pathway, your vision is going to become more and more clear. And you'll be able to see, even with open eyes, hear what is God and what is being superimposed on God. Gurumukh Sachi Kar Kamai. The seeker, or the Gurumukh, earns the command of the Guru practically as a lived experience through action. Not just, oh, the Guru said this, okay, I'll do it one day. But no, you got to do it right now. And this is more evident when you're with an alive master, because they're going to say something. And if you just mentally ruminate, they're going to be, what are you doing? I said this to you 5 minutes ago, why isn't it here yet? Or I said this to you last week, why aren't you doing it yet? So you don't even have time to mentally ruminate it. They give you a command, you got to go do it. So a Gurumukh lives the practical commands, the commands practically. And they always think of the Guru's mind as higher than their own. So I'm sure you've noticed, we've done so many paudiyaan on Gurumukh. And we're doing it now. And it's actually going to come up one more time as a grouping again. So much mentioned by Guru Nanak Dev Ji to be a Gurmukh. So much of it is on that. And there's a reason. I'll give you an example. There was a saint in the past that not many people, society generally didn't like them very much. Their ways were a little bit different and offbeat from the general trajectories of the world. But people really liked listening to them. So there's a person in their Sangat that asked a question and said, is it possible for me not to become a part of your order, but for me to still be a disciple in some way and still get enlightened from you? And the answer they gave was, I'd rather that you leave completely, because you're wasting my time and you're wasting your own time as well. What you're basically saying is, it's too much of a risk to become fully yours. I can't fully commit because people might judge me, but I still want every single benefit that you give to those seekers around you that have taken the risk, that have put in the commitment. I want you to give me the same stuff, but from a distance. And there's a very fundamental flaw, very, very fundamental flaw in this. Not from the point of the Guru, but from the point of the seeker. We're basically saying that the Guru has to give all their life energies, the same potencies, the same type of updesh To those that have risked everything and have put in the full commitment to give you the same amount as those people. And now you might think, basically, if you can't commit, you don't have access to the same energies as those that did put in the risk and the commitment. And this is not because the guru is less giving to someone who's distant. No. You might think, oh, then the guru's doing differences. No. The guru might even attempt and does attempt to give the same energies, the same potencies to someone who's distant. The problem is their heart isn't open enough to receive it. The person that's saying is, I can't give you my full commitment, is essentially saying, my heart isn't going to be open to the type of grace that is going to come from you. But those that have taken the full risk and the full commitment, their hearts are open. It's evident because they've taken the risk and they've put in the commitment. Then when the guru gives life energies to them, gives upadesh to them, they're fully going to accept it. It's going to penetrate them in a way that's not going to happen from someone who's a little bit more distant. The same energies, the same upadesh is not going to penetrate someone who's farther away. And by farther away, is still blocked off, is still saving themselves a little bit. For whatever reason, maybe the world doesn't consider it a good thing to have a Deitari guru. Maybe the world says this guru is not good. Whatever the reason might be, you're still blocked off. And it's because of this blocking off is not detrimental to the guru. It's detrimental to you as the seeker. You're the one that's at a loss if you can't put in the risk and you can't put in the commitment. Because there's risk. People are going to judge you. That's pretty clear. But that's part of the pathway. Have you ever noticed why in Gurbani, there are so many panktiyan on nindaks? Kabir ji talks about it. Guru Nanak Dev ji talks about it. Guru Arjan Dev ji talks about it. The Bhagats talk about it. Have you wondered why almost every single saint talks about it? It's because ninda has happened in their lives. People, when they were alive, judged them for the methods that they taught people, for the way that they were. So then they commented on it. That nindaks have this, and this pathway, and we have this, and pathway. They didn't comment on ninda because it's going to happen in the future sometime. And so you can read back and then you can be like, yeah, ninda happened and it's fine because the guru said so. No, it's because it happened to them as well and they commented on it. So it's the risk is natural and it's always been there. But your lack of commitment is detrimental to you, not the guru. That's why there is so much focus on this word gurmukh. This has to happen to you before you can access. See, the thing is, even if you read or you learn about the mysteries of the inner world, how good is that for you if you never get to experience them? They're just going to be stories and information on the top of your head, but your entire life is going to go by thinking, man, I wish that happened to me. I wish I lived it. And that's only going to happen in risk and in commitment. So that's why the focus on Gurmukh. So then we move on to Gurmukh Sachi Kar Kamai. A Gurmukh is someone who is lovingly and completely immersed in the resolve that is this truth. I, Atma, am real, not an illusion. I am consciousness only, and I am forever free, no boundaries, no limits of any kind. I am not limits or boundaries of any kind, whether that's a boundary created by society to define who I am, whether that's a boundary of the body, whether that's the boundary of my skin color or how tall or short I am, whether that's a boundary of my own mind, whether that's the boundary of the name that my parents gave me, whether that's the boundary of a reputation I'm trying to hold on to. None of those boundaries are me. They're illusions, and I am beyond this. That person who lives this and it becomes their experiential resolve sees the whole cosmos within themselves and sees themselves in the whole cosmos, eradicating all hate, all jealousy, all envy, all fear, all comparison, gone, because they're actually living one essence and they're seeing one essence. They're not trying to see it. They're not trying to mentally, oh yeah, it's really one. Look, let me logically get there every time. No, that's gone. Simultaneously, instantaneously, they are seeing this and they're living it without any effort. Gurmukh alak lakai disapave. A Gurmukh is someone who doesn't have stubbornness. They're not, those heady, headstrong. They're not adamant, but they're so full and loving and accepting of every moment that they live that their desires vanish. Even the desire for mukti vanishes. Even this idea that one day I'm going to meet God and it's going to happen and this, that's good at the beginning, but as you are on this pathway, even that starts to disappear. Why? And how so? You might think, how does that happen? How does the desire to even meet God start to eradicate? And I'll tell you, it's kind of magical and it's kind of mysterious. And I guess it has to happen to you for you to understand. But I can tell you this, that the present moments start to feel so satisfying. Your current lived experience is just you're so okay with it and you're so happy in it. You're so joyful in it. And it fills you so much that any desire for another state in the future starts to wash away because the present state is so good. It's so fulfilling. And it doesn't mean that everything is like great, wonderful, whatever, but it's just so satisfying in the present moment. And then any desire for the future it just falls. If that happens to you, God is near, very near. In fact, the most near that they've been. Desire is a quality of this constructed mind. Desire is a quality of a lot of movement. Non-desire is the quality of stillness. And if it's happening to you, God is near. In fact, you're living in God more than you've lived in ever before. And then, when a person does not have any desire, then cosmic grace dawns. This pave means when God's grace dawns, when God's thinking now this person is ready for self-realization, then that day happens. But the Gurmukh doesn't have stubbornness. Well, when is it going to happen? Oh, it didn't happen. Blah, 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 blah. No condition. Alak lakai, the Gurmukh then experiences that. The Gurmukh then knows that which can never be known. It's a mysterious thing, and it's almost contradictory. People say Guru Granth Sahib Ji can never have contradictions. I say there are so many contradictions in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and there should be. Because to explain a contradictory world, you're going to have to use contradictions. I would be worried if there weren't any, because that would mean that it's only explaining one side of the coin. Both sides of the coin have to be explained to get the full picture. And so alak lakai means a Gurmukh knows that which can never be known. And if this happens to you, you would understand, right? I mean, what more can be said? Nanak Gurmukh chot na khave. A Gurmukh is not prone to death, loss. What is death? It's not just, see, for some of you, death is so far off, you're not even scared of it, right? But what about losing everything that you've gained? Every relationship, all of your degrees, all your health, all of the wealth you've accumulated. What if it just vanished? Completely wiped down to zero. Isn't that painful? So this constant gain that we call life, and this constant loss that we call death, this constant living in heaven and hell and going back and forth, This is hellish. But the Gurmukh goes beyond this, where there's no more pain, and they live an honorable and distinguished existence. Whether the world knows it or not, the whole cosmos does. The one that matters knows. So Sakhi Swamiji told here as the Sakhi of Bhai Javanda Ji during Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's time, the sixth Guru. And listen to the Sakhi carefully, because I know you've listened to it before, but really soak it in. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was going somewhere, and they told one of their Sikhs, Bhai Javanda, why don't you wait here by the road, and when I'm on the way back, I'll collect you and we can go back. What happened was Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji ended up going back using a different route, and Bhai Javanda was still standing there. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji got back to their place of residence, and they were asking their Sikhs, where's Bhai Javanda? I mean, I don't even see him around. And they said, Bhai Javanda is still standing at the roadside that you left him at. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji sits on their horse, runs, and then goes to Bhai Javanda, you're still standing here? And Bhai Javanda says, you told me to stand here and that you would come collect me, so I've been waiting. And then Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji says, you are really mine. This is a very proud and very satisfying moment for a Guru. You are really mine, and I am really yours. What is it that is so satisfying and so joy-producing in a Guru? Commitment. A Sikh's commitment gives more joy to the Guru than anything else. If you're committed to me, I'm committed to you. And I'm going to give you the most precious thing that I have. Because your heart is open enough, and your commitment is showing me that your heart is open enough to receive it now. Commitment means I surrendered, I committed. It wasn't a joke. I didn't make a joke out of the word commitment. I didn't make a joke out of the word surrender. My life's a mess still. Nothing is really happening. I feel like I'm going downward. I feel like maybe I was better off beforehand. These are things that I'm speaking from experience. And sometimes it just feels like, you know what, leave it. Maybe I need to find another Guru. Maybe I need to just stop doing this altogether. Maybe I need to move on. But still, it was a commitment. It was a surrender. So if I'm going down, then go down. If it's not working, then it's not working. But I'm still going to continue on this pathway. Then you break through the barrier that was stopping you, and then it starts working. And then you start going up. But it was a commitment. It was a surrender. I'm not going to go back on it because I came across some obstacles, one obstacle, two obstacles, whatever it takes. It takes the whole life, then it takes the whole life. But it was a commitment. It was a surrender. And I'm not going to make a joke out of the word surrender because it was a fake surrender or a fake commitment. Charan sharan gur ek panda jai jal satguru kot panda aaga hoye neek hain. They're saying if a Sikh takes one step, the Guru takes, a million or 1,000 or whatever. What is that one step that a Sikh takes? Full, utter commitment, surrender, despite all risk. That is that one step that the Sikh takes. And that commitment will get tested to figure out if it's real or not. If you just did it when everything was really good, maybe you did it in a moment of joy or a moment of enthusiasm, and you took the step to be surrendered and committed. So it gets tested because it has to be real, and it has to not depend on moments of enthusiasm or high points. It has to be independent of your high points or your low points. But when the commitment is there, then the Guru gives everything. And not that the Guru is restricted in front of people that don't risk it, but because your risk and your commitment is showing that your heart is fully open and you're ready to receive. So the Guru gives and you receive. So that one step is commitment and honoring the command of the Guru, which Bhai Javanda did. Gurumukh lagya sahaj dhyan. Moving on to the next body. The seeker is asking a question. How do I naturally go into states of meditation? How does it happen to me naturally without effort? Because this is a Sahaj Marg, right? We always say Guru Nanak Dev Ji's way or the ways of the saints is the Sahaj Marg. Sahaj Marg means that it's a naturally easy, it's an effortless pathway. So they're asking, how do I go into meditation states effortlessly? The seeker is saying, give me a technique. Jor na jugti chutta sansar. Not by force, but by technique can you go past the mind world. The Guru changes your mental structure and they give you vision clarity on how to live. For example, I have days, much less now, thanks to my Guruji, when it's worry, stress, there's pressure, something's not working out. The Guru sits me down and says, what are you worried about? Has everything that's happened to you in life been your doing? Or has it happened to you? And I say, it's happened to me. He's like, then it's going to happen to you. Stop doing anything. Stop worrying. And they give this really amazing example. Swamiji gives it to me, to all of you. So they say where there was a beggar walking on the street and he was carrying a really, really heavy load. And the king's carriage went past and the king said, stop, let the beggar on. I can't see him walking with such a heavy load on his head. And the beggar is scared because he can't say no. It's the king. But how can he sit in the same carriage as the king? So the beggar says, okay, I'll sit in the carriage. But the beggar doesn't take off his load. Even sitting on the carriage where he doesn't have to walk anymore, he's still carrying his really heavy load. And the king is watching him kind of laughing. Why are you carrying the load? Oh, because I have to carry the load. You're carrying me and I have to carry this load. And the king is like, no, take off the load. That's why I put you on the carriage. But the beggar says, no, I can't take off my load. So then Swamiji tells me, ये बोझा क्यों ढाया हुआ है? ये काहे को बोझा ढाया हुआ है? तो मैंने कह दिया, सब हो जाएगा. छोड़ो ना बोझा. Then I feel, oh yeah, I'm stupid. I'm on the carriage and I'm carrying a load. Just put the load down. Seems so simple, and it seems like, oh, Jasmine, you should have just come to that conclusion yourself. If I could, I would. That's why you need an alive master who gives you pointers that just were so simply logical pointers. But they make the whole difference. And then you're like, yeah, that's stupid. Why am I carrying a load when I'm already on a carriage? Right? Stop resisting. Go onto the natural trajectory. Be like a leaf that has fallen off the tree. Wherever the wind takes him, it takes him. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be fine. Nothing is going to kill you. No pain, nothing. You're going to be fine. And then you're off again on your pathway. Gurumukh Naam Dan Isnan. So the answer Guruji gives, receive Naam Dan from your Guru. Receive the Upadesh of the Nami from the Guru, and you will go into entrenched and natural states of meditation. You will drown, you will bathe in natural states of meditation. How? First, you need the Naam, or the technique. Then you need inner mapping. You also need information about the target of the Naam, or the target of the technique, which is the Nami, which is God, real God, not your imaginary God or your form included God. Really, who is God? And when they give you all of this, then you need to earn it, put it into action. Right? By the way, y'all are amazing because you show up. You at least show up. In fact, you show up. There are so many people that read and they think about this pathway, but they just think about it. Class is happening somewhere. Oh, great. Yeah, it's wonderful that classes are happening, but I'm not going to show up. Then what's the point? You need to put something in action, and you guys put things in action. So good for you. It's going to bear fruit. Second definition Swamiji did of the Shabad was, first you need to do Simran the way that the Guru tells you, so that's Naam. Then you need to have this bhavana, this personality to give back. Stop being a Scrooge, stop being a miser, stop being a hoarder or a penny pincher, and have at least the bhavana to give back, to do seva of someone for the sake of seva, not because you want anything back from them. To give just because you're giving. That's it. Not because you want anything back, but because it's become your nature to do this. Charity, that's daan. And number 3, ishnan, visit the holy places or the tirths. Now, what is a tirth? It is a place where you get washed. A tirth is a place that you get washed. There might be water. It'll help in the washing. But it's a place whose reverberation washes you. Any negativity, any doubt, any obstacle, mental, bodily, whatever it is, karmic, it's getting washed. If you go to Amritsar, next time you go, right at the steps where the first step that goes down, you'll feel a boundary change. An intoxication takes you over as soon as you take that one step down. It's very magical, but there's reverberations there that even if you don't dip in the sarovar, you're being washed. And then when you take a dip in the sarovar, that's helping you even more because water holds memory. And when there's kirtan playing all the time, positive vibrations, energetic vibrations from seekers and from accomplished ones that are being held by that water, it's going to only amplify the washing experience for you. This online satsang that you come to, it washes you. This is also a tirth. Satsang is a tirth. And the greatest tirth that I'll tell you from personal experience is to be in the physical presence of your master. Nothing washes you better than that. That is the greatest tirth. I'll tell you, I've been here for almost a month and a half, and I feel like a new person. I feel like I'm very different from what I was a month and a half ago, just simply by being here with my guru. This is the greatest tirth. That's why they say all of Ganga, all of Yamuna, all of Saraswati, they go to take a bath at the feet of the saints, right? This comes in Gurbani that the saints' feet are the greatest tirth. That's where you should do Shnan. When you live this, you're like, I get it. I could have gone to Ganga and taken a Shnan. I would have washed something away. It would have been great. But the type of washing that happens in the physical presence of a master, there is no equal. Then I will say, man, even the Ganga has to come to Swamiji's feet to wash herself. Because it's my lived experience. Gurumukh Pave Dargahman. Yes, you are that grateful. Gurumukh Pave Dargahman. And a Gurumukh is honored for all time, even after the body passes. Aurangzeb is remembered, but very in a bad way. Think about it. You think you're doing really good things in your lifetime, and then you die, and everybody that knows you just ends up hating you. What a shitty legacy. And this is his legacy, right? Every time you think about him, like, oh, that shit dude, I ain't giving him no jot or divan. That guy can go live in darkness, whatever. But then you think of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the Sahibzade, and their legacy is pure, untainted. It's the type of legacy that shoots arrows through people's hearts, purifies people's hearts just by listening to it. They're honored even today, even after their bodies have gone on. Gurumukh Pave Dargahman. The Gurumukh is honored. So interesting though, because usually when the Gurumukh receives this honor, it's at that point where they don't even want it anymore. Usually it's a very interesting law of the cosmos. You get things when you don't want them anymore. Swami Ram Tirth says something, and Swamiji has repeated this many times before. भागती फिरती थी दुनिया जब हम इसके तलबकार थे, जब से मुंह मोड़ा ये मिलने को बेकरार है. When I ran after the world, it always escaped me. I tried to get the world in my hands and it just ran away. And now I've turned around and I don't want the world anymore, not its honor, not its recognition, not its help, not its support, not its lending arm. And now it is so, how do you say thirsty in a better way? It just really wants to meet me. It really wants to be with me. The reputation, the recognition, the help, the support, even though I don't want it, it's just coming to me. Right? So it comes when you don't really want it anymore. Gurumukh pao panjan pradhan. Every single human being has the fear of the future. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my body? Am I going to have enough money? Will I have a nice existence? Will I leave a legacy behind? Will I be my local king? Right? Because that's what you really want to be. Think about it. You don't just want to be successful. You want to be the most successful amongst your circle of people that you know, your relatives, friends, colleagues. You want to be your local king. And when that's over, you want to be the world king. Will that happen to me? And of course, most people, we have the fear of death. Maybe not, you don't have it right now because you think you're going to live forever. But if you're closer and closer to it, it's an inevitability. You are going to die. So all of these fears, for a Gurumukh, they vanish. They really go away. And I'm telling you, it's really possible for these fears to go away. Gita says in chapter 2, verse 20, Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamare mane sharire. Krishna is saying to Arjun, you were never born and you're never going to die, Arjun. It's not like you once existed and you're not going to exist anymore. You will always exist. You're without birth, you're eternal, you're immortal, you're ageless. And when your body gets destroyed, you will not be destroyed. You'll never be hurt. You've never been hurt. You'll never be incomplete. You are always full and perfect and complete. And you are for always. You have more Anand than all of the Anand that you can piece together in the cosmos. You have more than that. Arjun, you're going to be fine. You are fine. And when the Guru tells you this and it becomes your priority, when this vachan of the Guru becomes more important than your own mental rumination that, oh, what's going to happen, this and that, and when the Guru's commandment, this commandment becomes your lived experience, you're free. You'll have more Anand than all of the Anand and joy you can piece together in the cosmos. You'll have more than that. Gurmukh karni kar kamai. A Gurmukh earns one thing and one thing only, and that is this. The Guru's command is that you are not a boundary. You are limitless. You are not the noise. You are silence. You are not the movement. You are stillness. You're not the peripheries. You're the center. You're not the mind. You're not the body. You're not the senses. You're not the movement. You're not this illusory storm, projectional storm that you call the mind. You are completely still, at peace, in ecstasy. You're not the storm. You're that beautiful summer valley with wild flowers, with the gentle breeze that is so peaceful. and so satisfying. You are not the storm. And if there was a storm ever, it was just a hologram. In reality, nothing has ever destroyed the peace in your beautiful, flower-filled valley. You are not the sleep, you are the waking. This Guru's commandment becomes the mantra for the Sikh, for the Gurmukh. It has to become their lived experience. This is priority in the Seeker's life. Nanak Gurmukh mele milai. A Sikh becomes infected by the Guru. Trust me, this sounds weird, but you get infected by your Guru. Whatever they're giving off, it somehow comes to you. Not by words, but some other mysterious way. And you know this when you're with them. Something is happening to you and you can't describe it. And you don't know why it's happening either. Gurmukh Sastra Simrit Ved. A Gurmukh knows the essence of every divine word that has been spoken in real time or has been written in record. The Gurmukh knows the essence of it. The Gurmukh knows the Mahavakyas as a lived experience, not by words, not as statements, but knows them, really knows them. They know the essence of all of the histories, all of the stories, why they were written, what they were meant to do. It has happened to the Gurmukh already. So Gurmukh Sastra Simrit Ved. Gurmukh Pave Kat Kat Ped. Gurmukh knows the mystery of every heart, of every core. It knows the alive essence within every single thing, not just other human beings, but every single thing, including themselves. Sakhi Pai Kanhaiya. By the way, Pai Kanhaiya wore white. They did not wear the blue uniform of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's army. They didn't know how to wear a kirpan. They actually came without wearing a shastar. And this is what happened. People made fun of them. Guru's Sikhs, by the way. They were like, who is this guy? Why is he wearing white and sticking out like a sore thumb on the battlefield? They were justified in their way, but still. Why isn't he wearing a kirpan? So then Pai Kanhaiya wore a kirpan, but you know how sometimes your gatra, the kirpan goes upside down? So then Pai Kanhaiya's kirpan go upside down. They're like, what is he doing? Why is this kirpan hanging on like that? How can he even use it if it's looking like that? And what does Pai Kanhaiya do after? He goes out on the battlefield, sticking out like a sore thumb, gives the precious resources of water and food to the enemies. And the Sikhs are coming and thinking, I just slayed that dude. And this guy just went and fixed him up, gave him water, and now he's run back to his camp again. They're fed up. They're like, this guy's a traitor. He's a kafir. I mean, the Muslim word for it anyways. They complain to Guru Sahib, and then Pai Kanhaiya comes. Kanhaiya, is it true that you're doing all of this? And he says, yes. Pai Kanhaiya, why are you doing this? Kanhaiya says, I can't help it. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, I see you in every one of the faces out there. I can't help it. If you ask me for water, am I going to deny it? Not Guru Gobind Singh Ji's face, the way that it's drawn in the pictures, but Guru Gobind Singh Ji's real face. His real face. I see your real face in every one of the faces I see out there. And I can't help it when you ask me for water. I have to give it to you. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji smiles and hugs Pai Kanhaiya and says, you've reached the state that I wish for all my Sikhs to reach. Pai Kanhaiya, I want you to continue giving them water to whoever you feel like, but I want you to also take this medical tape and this medical balm and make sure that after you feed them water, give them water, that you also tend to their wounds, whoever you feel like. The Sikhs are kind of shocked. They still don't really like Pai Kanhaiya, but he's been validated by the Guru, so they have no option but to kind of like him. This is the story of a lot of saints. Saints, People don't like them. The general populace doesn't like them. You're like, okay, well, I guess I kind of have to like them. This has been happening for ages. It's always like this. So you, as a Viveki, have to decide, do I side with the Sikhs that are not enlightened? Or do I side with the ones that are like the Nayaji, who may be a little offbeat, a little, that's not mainstream. Is that even Sikh anymore? The guy's not even wearing a shastra. He's not even wearing the uniform anymore. I think he's joined the enemy. He likes the Hindus. He likes the Muslims. He doesn't only like the Sikhs anymore. Isn't this everyone's problem? You're only supposed to like the Sikhs. Just like those Sikhs say, you're only supposed to fight for our group. But Baikanayaji's like, no, but I like the Hindus and I like the Muslims and I like the Christians. I like Buddha. I like Krishna. I like all of them. And all of a sudden, he's too offbeat for you. He's just too different. And you don't like him anymore. You see how this story is still playing out today, and it's going to continue to play out in the future. So don't think this is going to change. It's not going to change. A saint doesn't change for you. They're fearless in what they have to say. You either come to the right conclusion or live in your delusion. All decisions that you make as a seeker are for you, not for the guru. They're for you. And you will have to pay their consequences. Not the guru, you will. So, Gurmukh Vair Virod Gavave. A Gurmukh goes beyond hating. Hating means that you want to hurt somebody. And when this goes on for a long time, it becomes enmity. A Gurmukh goes beyond hatred and enmity. They leave that behind because it's such a surface level, such a shallow type of experience in life. They go into deeper states of experience where there's love, there's acceptance, there's tolerance, and there is that one essence, the deepest state. I mean, if you ask a scientist, right? I like listening to Neil Tyson deGrasse. I like listening to a lot of scientists. I think they have amazing discoveries and amazing visions of the world, untainted by religiosity, but still tainted by something. I understand that. And they always talk about we're made of star stuff. Stars that blew up in the past, their cores are the ones that made up the organic elements, the heavier elements in our body. And we're made up of that stuff. You, me, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, every one of us. They call it star stuff because we've done a little bit more research on it. The Bharat and Gunts call it the 5 elements. We're all made of the 5 elements, even on our most shallow level of existence. And then the Atma, the consciousness within all of us, is exactly the same. There isn't even the differentiation of 5 types of things. So if our shallow existence and our most deep existence is actually shared, is actually the same, then where the heck does all of this differentiation, these I'm this, you are that, I don't like you, I like this person, this, where does it come from? It comes from illusory ruminations of a non-existent entity called the mind. It doesn't even exist, and it causes you to live in this misery of divisions. If you want to really know what the mind is, it's a projectional storm in a completely still valley. Projectional storm. You can see it, but it's not really there. Its wind doesn't do anything. Its lightning isn't really doing anything. Its grayness is not really real grayness. It's just projected, fake. Looks like it moves around. And in that, we get caught up. When actually your valley, your flower-filled, beautiful blue sky, sunlight, gentle breeze, easy breathing place is where you've always been. And it is actually what's real, not this weird projectional storm that you see. And if you see it, imagine yourself sitting in this beautiful valley and you see a projectional storm. So what if you see it? It doesn't do a damn thing. As it's come and it's gone, And I'm still sitting in my gentle breeze, in my peace, looking at the vibrancy of the flowers. The smell is great. Everything is great. That's where you really are. Gurumukh sagni ganit mitave. A Gurumukh goes beyond transactions. I'm only going to do this for you if you do this for me. I'm only going to love you if you love me back. I'm only going to do this if you do this. Blah, 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 blah. This goes away. Gurumukh Ram Nam Rangarata. Ram, that core silence, core stillness of existence, free, blissful, ecstatic, unbound, always there. A Gurmukh is so intoxicated and entrenched in that stillness that we call Ram, in that vyapakness, in that ever-presence that we call Ram. Gurmukh knows that the noise is unreal and the silence is real. How does this happen? Nanak Gurumukh Kasam Pachata. Why is it that we call Vaheguru our Kasam? I've written a few things down here. Kasam means it's the closest thing to you. God is the closest thing to me. Everything was far. Everything was distant. And God was the closest, really, really actually mine. He never left. He never gave up on me. And I cheated. I was a bewafa. I cheated so many times. And he didn't even hold that against me. He waited right by my side, gently waiting. He didn't force me to love him. He didn't force me to do anything. And he waited there gently. One day I would turn around. He was my everything the entire time. And now I've recognized him, and we're not two anymore. I turned around and I recognized him. I saw his face, and I saw that his face was my face, and we're not two anymore. Nanak Gurumukh Kasam Bachata. And the Anand, that is Vaheguru, is now me. No one can change me. No one can hurt me. No one can cut me up. I can't burn in a fire. I can't lose. I can't be at a loss anymore. I can never be pulled in one direction and the other direction. I'm not the yin and the yang. I'm the center point that never moves. You know the yin and yang circle? There's two little thingies that go around each other. I'm not the yin and yang. I'm that very center point in the circle that never moves. So this is the most exalted state of a Gurmukh. But what Gurmukh really, the word is really saying, is that you took the risk and the commitment to become somebody's. Yes, I've said the word risk so many times. Take a shot every time I've said it, and you'd be very drunk tonight, or wherever you are in the morning. But I'm just going to give it to you clearly. It's a risky pathway because not everyone, no, majority isn't going to like it. But if you're committed, you can have access to the states that Guru Nanak Dev Ji has told us about. So that's it for today. Please forgive me for going over time. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Please forgive me for my mistakes as well. Thank you.